Hello, Dr. Balta. For the Group 5 clinical anatomy presentation, we have all decided to cover non alcoholic fatty liver disease. Before we go over my section, which is the most common causes of fatty liver disease, I feel like it's important to mention what fatty liver disease actually is. Okay, so non alcoholic fatty liver disease, or NAFLD for short, is a condition that is caused by fat buildup because of weight gain. So the fat that builds up across your body, it spreads to everywhere throughout the bloodstream. It also spreads to the liver. So in the liver, the fat is collected and stored in hepatocytes, which is another way to say the cells that make up your liver. All right, to go down the list, I'd say that the most common way that you'd contract something like NAFLD would be through obesity or excessive weight gain, because I feel like those yield the most fat growth, which in turn it would lead to the most fat traveling to your liver. Beyond obesity, being diabetic or pre-diabetic are also common causes for NAFLD. The reason that being diabetic or being pre-diabetic is such a big impact to something like NAFLD is that the insulin resistance that comes with being diabetic also impacts the amount of fat that's produced. So the excess fat that's produced in turn affects the amount of fat that goes into the liver. So, metabolic syndrome, or what could be described as the symptoms of metabolic syndrome, because metabolic syndrome is just a cluster of symptoms related to something like obesity or diabetes. Okay, so when we're getting into the symptoms of metabolic syndrome, you can see that it's for something like high blood pressure, high triglycerides, higher waist circumference. These are all symptoms and byproducts of being obese and generally excessively overweight. I know you're seeing this and you're thinking, no way NAFLD, the non alcoholic disease, is not caused by alcohol. Are you serious? But no, it is not caused by alcohol consumption, unlike FLD, which is fatty liver disease, which is caused by alcohol consumption, among other things like obesity. But that does not warrant under any circumstances, excess drinking. Okay, so the reason I made the graphic here, which showcases there is the skinny man with a liver disease with a big red X, and that's to showcase that guy, because he's not, you know, big, he does not have excess fat going through his system, could not get NAFLD that way. But for example, on the right, there is the big man who is also drinking, but the reason that he has that disease is most likely because of the excess fat that comes with him being obese, not from the fact that he's drinking. But that doesn't help. While NAFLD is obviously caused by other factors other than drinking, the fact that you can still get fatty liver disease from drinking with the added fats that come from drinking alcohol, you're just doubling up on the damage to your liver. So as it's already been discussed, NAFLD does not benefit from an excess of alcohol consumption, let alone your liver itself. Just there's no reason that you should be drinking an excess of alcohol if you care about the health of your liver. So, what about the other stuff? What's happening? Oh my god. Beyond excess alcohol, what else should be avoided when considering your food and drink options to avoid developing NAFLD? So, from the selection of foods and drinks here, these are all options that would lead to something like obesity, that would lead to something like unwanted weight on your body. So, the excess fat that comes from these types of foods are sure to aid in NAFLD. To get into the specifics of what we're looking at here, sugary foods, fat heavy foods, and salty foods, one, based on the name and the other just based on principle, are all fat heavy foods. These should all be avoided if you're trying to avoid fat entering your system, excess fat. But with everything that's been said, I feel like this is a great look at the clinical history and what causes non alcohol fatty liver disease. But it really gets me thinking, what are the symptoms of NAFLD? I really don't know. I think that Ariana has to be the one to show me.